Hello, everybody. I'm Hank Joseph, and this is The Toss-Up. Each week, join our expert line panelists as they dissect the latest sports news from some of the nation's most elite college programs here in Bloomington to the biggest stadiums and stages around the world. Stick around because we have a fantastic show coming up on The Toss-Up. We might have just talked about the sport 2 weeks ago, but we are back again with more tennis. But this time, we're talking about Indiana tennis. The men's tennis team is coming off a huge win against in-state rival Ball State and has the number 14th ranked signing class in 2023. Coming up first on the toss-up, so here to talk about the men's team is our own Ben Polonsky, Zeke Shapiro, and Kylee Corman. Thanks for coming on, y'all.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks. Absolutely. So let's get into it. The team, 5-1 up to this point. What are your impressions so far, Kylee?
I'm pretty impressed with this team so far. They kind of had a rough season last year. They had a tough match against Butler, and they just beat them last weekend. So I think they're already doing more than they did last year, and I think they're more confident in themselves, and I'm feeling good about the season.
Absolutely. Zeke?
Well, one thing that you have to see when you look at this team is the cohesion about the group. When you get college tennis, you get guys from all across the country, all across the world. When IU played Middle Tennessee State, there wasn't a single American guy on the Middle Tennessee State roster. But somehow Coach Jeremy Wertzman has gotten these guys together and has said, let's build a winner. And in doubles, they have not lost a single point so far this season. 6 matches, that's pretty impressive. And they're just finding ways to win. Each and every week, there always seems to be a great comeback from one of the teams. Someone's serve is working very well. It always seems like something's working and the rest of the team feeds off of it, and the leadership has been great.
Yeah, it's great. The doubles has been, quite a sight to watch thus far this season.
Yeah. Like you guys have said, the doubles has been spectacular. They haven't lost in doubles yet, even against Middle Tennessee State, which is one of the highest ranked teams in the nation. And yeah, singles, there's some stuff to work on. They can get more consistent and they can do better against the better teams as they go forward. But so far, they've been great in all the matches, and they've brought the energy from the start, especially from the young guys in the team.
Yeah, only loss thus far this season, as you guys mentioned, Middle Tennessee State, who got roughly 25 votes to get into the top 25 last week in the ITA rankings. Which underclassman, Ben, to you has stood out thus far?
Yeah, I think it's got to be Ikanch Kumar. He's 5-0 in doubles. He's 4-1 in singles. And he came straight out of high school, and now he's on a D1 college team. And he's just brought the energy every match. And, he gets his teammates involved. Even when he's not playing and he's sitting, he's hyped. And he loves to be there. And, that energy rubs off on everyone. Even Pat Fletcher, he can hear that, and he talked about it in his interview. And, that type of energy just spreads, and then it gets contagious throughout the team, and then, yeah. Yeah,
and Zeke kind of goes back to the coaching that you mentioned. Which underclassman for you, has been surprising, I guess?
Well, Sam Landau, the 5-star recruit from LA, there was a lot of hype for him coming in, and I think he's handled that pressure very well. Against Ball State, he put on one of the best performances I've ever seen from a freshman. He wins 6-0, 6-0 against the number 3 player from Ball State. The guy was talking to himself. The guy from Ball State was getting beaten so badly. I remember Sam hits a ball into the net in the final game of the match, and the kid goes, finally, he misses. And, just that confidence and the composure he has at this level at such a young age is so great to see, and he's so friendly with Ikanch. Ikanch has been great as well, but it's hard to say out of a 5-star recruit. I'm surprised with his performances because that's what you expect, but he's been playing above and beyond what I think everyone expected so far.
Kylee, hard to disagree with those two?
I think those are pretty fair assessments. I would definitely say Econch. I mean, there will be balls that you've given up on that play. You're kind of looking around the other courts, and it's like he got it. He ran after it, and he's back where he's supposed to be. It's really incredible to me. He does have amazing energy.
Yeah, it certainly sounds like, I don't think that a lot of students here at Indiana have been to tennis matches, but Indiana is really building something. Obviously, the number 14 recruiting class, we'll get to that in a minute. What about the upperclassmen, the juniors and seniors, maybe the graduates? Who has stood out to you, I guess, Kylee, the most?
Definitely Pat Fletchell. He's, I believe, just senior. I don't know if he's a fifth year or not, but every time, he's gotten beat the first couple matches, but he's a #1 singles playing against the best players in the world, and just it doesn't faze him. Mm-hmm. He still has the confidence, he still has the energy, and he finally got his first 2 wins of the season last Sunday, and it was just really awesome to see. It just helped build his confidence, and he's very humble and very hardworking, and I think he's a great role model to all the underclassmen, all the new kids coming in.
Yeah, I think 14 singles wins last year, so he would certainly like to build on that. Mm-hmm. Ben?
Well, Pat as well has just been really great. And it's not just about how good he is, it's the leadership that he shows. You see, here's a guy who is #1, and he starts the season 0-3. And there was a couple matches out of those 3 in the first 3 matches of the year that they expected him to win. Mm-hmm. But he shows up every single time in the doubles. And there were a lot of people coming in that were saying, well, he's 0-3. He's going up against a couple teams that maybe aren't as good. I don't know if he'll get that first win. But he goes in, the guy serves like 120. You can literally see smoke coming off the ball after he serves it. But he showed such great composure. And it was, we're reporters. We have to act professionally. But I felt myself cheering for the guy because of how great of a guy he is and how great of a leader he is. And to see him just come back from that after a shaky start was great, and he's been a big surprise for me. Yeah,
turning it around early, especially in tennis, it's an individual game for the most part, so it's pretty easy to fall down, into that hole, and he was able to dig himself out, which is great to see. Ben, sorry, Zeke. Ben, what about you?
Well, this guy doesn't get talked enough about, but Ilya Tiraspolsky has been unbelievable this season. Mm-hmm. He's undefeated. He's 4-0 in doubles, 3-0 in singles, and he's a very quiet person. You don't hear a lot from him, but he still brings the energy, and he's a great team player, and he's very consistent, but he's aggressive at the same time. And he's been moving up and down the lineup wherever the coach puts him, and he's totally okay with it. And he's very underrated, and you need a guy who can consistently win if you're going to stay in these big matches and win them, because without that, then you got to expect other guys to all win. But if you can consistently win from Ilya, then it gives other guys less pressure to win.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, Zeke, I'm going to ask you this one first. What match coming up this spring are you most looking forward to?
I am very excited for the Louisville match. Okay. And when you look at Louisville, it's a team, their top 3 players have their ratings 13.4 and above, which is stellar. That's what you see, maybe one guy on every other team has a guy who's a 13-4. These guys have 3 guys that are 13-4s. They played a Middle Tennessee State team that was very solid IU, and they performed very well. So then they go up to that level again against Louisville. It's going to be great to see what they can do against a star-studded team. Because looking at this team, I really think that they do have the ability to challenge any team out there. They have I think, in my opinion, that IU has some of the best doubles in the country. And it shows because it shows with the numbers. So I think against Louisville, I think that Louisville's a team that's going to be looking past the Hoosiers. And I think Jeremy just has to rally the troops and say, listen, these guys aren't taking you seriously. Go in there, kick them where you need to kick them, and we'll get that victory. And that could really put them into the top 25.
Yeah, that underdog mentality. Is the match here or is it in Louisville?
The match is in Bloomington.
Okay, well, that'll be good. Hopefully we can get a lot of fans. I know coming up this Saturday, the match against Dartmouth, they're giving out free bagels. So that's a way to get some fandom going. Kylee, what about you? What match are you looking forward to most?
I mean, any sport, Big Ten play is always exciting. There's Michigan coming up. I believe they are number 4 in the country right now. Okay. Ohio State as well as later on in the season, and they're number 2 in the nation right now. So I mean, obviously some tougher matchups, but I believe that we can hang with them.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I hope we can get a few wins out of there.
Yeah, Big Ten play is never easy in any sport, I don't think. What about you, Ben?
Yeah, I'm most looking forward to Michigan because IU versus Michigan in tennis is always a good matchup. And Michigan's number 2 in the Big Ten right now behind Ohio State, and they're 6-0. And I think Indiana really needs like a big win to just boost their confidence. I mean, yeah, they're playing great, but like they haven't beat a team that's like very high ranked yet, and I think they just need that to get forward and just so that they can like firmly believe that they can do it at the highest level and maybe make a push at a national championship.
Yeah, and certainly, and playing Dartmouth this Saturday, 5-0 as well. So this could be a huge launching pad, for them going into Big Ten play. So let's talk about. We mentioned that Indiana's 2023 class, number 14th in the country, which is pretty phenomenal, especially for a team that doesn't find themselves in the top 25 very often in the ITA. So what does that mean for the program outside of, hey, Ben, they're getting better? What does that mean for IU?
Well, yeah, so next year they lose 2 starters in Luka Vukovic and Patrick Fletchel. So, like, they need to find replacements. Yeah, guys can move up, but they're getting 2 guys that are very high ranked. They're like, both of them are in the top 70. And they're going to come in, they're international, so they have a lot of foreign play and like these high tournaments that you don't see in America. And they're going to come in and just hopefully go directly into the lineup and just replace those guys that are leaving.
Okay. Zeke?
I think we're at a point now in the Hoosiers program where we're going to win now. It's gone past just developing the guys we have. I think Coach Jeremy Wertzman has done an unreal job of recruiting. And I think in the next few years, you could see an IU team that's really dangerous. When you talk about Big Ten tennis, it's Ohio State, Michigan. I think with this recruiting class, I think the Hoosiers are going to be in that conversation for Big Ten titles, NCAA tournament appearances. I'm really excited. I feel like with the Hoosiers in the past, it's sort of winning has been, hopefully we get it. But with this recruiting class, we're going to see some victories piling up, and we're going to see the Hoosiers in the limelight right now.
Yeah.
So I'm very excited with this recruiting class.
Well, and the toughest thing about, expecting to win is having to deal with those expectations. And as you said, Indiana hasn't really had those expectations in the past. So turning a new page and, finding a new chapter in this Indiana men's tennis book, I guess you could say. What do you think, Kylee, about this new recruiting class?
I think this team has already improved so much since last year. Like, you can just see it. And just adding Sam, adding Econch, that's done so much for this team. And adding 2 more star players, like Zeke said, they're going to be the team to beat within a few years for sure.
Wow, well, that is really exciting. I can't wait, to begin to watch this team. I mentioned before I'd only been to one IU tennis match prior, but, this spring, now that especially if they can start piling up some wins, it sounds like it's some fun doubles matches to go watch as well. Thank you all, so much for coming on. And that does it for the show this week, but be sure to continue the discussion and follow us on Instagram and Twitter at IUSTV Sports. And with that, there's one thing left to do, so toss it up, find out if we'll catch it, and we'll see you next week.